All right, guys, so we are going to go through our choir points for this year. This is it's starting from this past summer, so like the end of school last year, like June of last year, all the way until now. So it's just for this past year, last summer until now. If you are a first year in choir, you will have just the points this year for our choir awards. If you are an upperclassman and you've been in choir before, we have your point totals from before, and we will add what you give me to those totals for your awards. So they are accumulative throughout your whole time that you are in choir. So we're going to start at the first little section, and these are the points for the groups that you were in. So if you were in women's choir or men's choir or Bella Voce, you get 175 points. If you were in symphonic choir or forte, you get 200 points. If you were in both, you get 200 for each. All of my Nove people, it's 125 points. And then finally, if you are a senior and you've been in choir all 4 years, that's another 50 points on top of that. Okay, that's just your general choir group points. Next is school-related activities. These first ones were if you took a solo to OMEA, all right? And that would probably be mainly symphonic and forte people. So if you took a vocal solo to OMEA contest this year, it's 30 points. We didn't have anybody do a small ensemble. If you took a piano solo to OMEA, that would be 10 points. Next is concert solo. This is if you sang a solo at one of our concerts during the year. So at the fall show, if you auditioned and you got a solo spot, that would count as 5 points. If you did at our show, like within, let's say in the Adele medley, you had a solo in that song, that would be 5 points. With something like forte or nove, where you might have had a solo and you sang it like 12 times, it's just 5 points per song that you had a solo in, okay? And that's just for our concerts. We did not have a choir lock-in, no bass clef. There was not a talent show or originals night this year. Any of my freshmen that are on here, so if you are a freshman, this is when you get to count your previous years of middle school honors choir. So if you are a freshman and you were in middle school honors choir last year, you get 25 points. If you were in middle school honors choir the year before that, you get 25 points. So you get 25 points per year you were in middle school honors choir, but you only get to do that as a freshman. All right, that should be the school-related activities section. Next, we go into musicals. And the musicals are just the 2 musicals that we do at the high school. So this year, it would be if you were involved with First Date or Hunchback. It's not the plays because there's no music aspect to it, okay? So just those 2, and know that in this musical section, it's a max of 125 points. So as soon as you reach 125, you cap out on that for the year. All right, if you had a lead in either of the shows, or if you were an understudy for the lead because you were putting in that same amount of work, you get 75 points per show. Now, again, that would be 150 if you were both of those, but your max is 125, so you've already reached it. If you were a minor or a chorus role, you would get 50 points per show. If you were in the crew or the pit orchestra, that would include like set build, costuming, anything like that, you would get 25 points per show. So that is your fall and spring musicals. Next, we have the private music lessons. This is if you are taking private lessons from somebody. It can either be somebody that comes to the high school to teach private lessons to you one-on-one, or if you go somewhere else at another time in the evening to take private voice lessons. This year, a full year is going to count from when we ended at quarantine. I know some of you are still doing lessons via Zoom, which is great, but a full year will count from the beginning of the school year until we started quarantine. So a full year of voice lessons is 75 points. If you only did a half year, like let's say you started late, it's just 40 points. A full year of piano lessons is 50 points. And remember, this is just this past year, okay? So not if you took it like 3 years ago. And then other instruments. So let's say you take guitar lessons, or you play a band instrument and you take lessons on that, or orchestra, that's 25 points for a full year of lessons. And just know, guys, this is all on the honor system. Like, we're not checking up on you. So, be mindful of that. The next little section is services. If you were a choir officer this year, you can give yourself 40 points for that. Next, we have accompanist. If you were an accompanist for something at one of our concerts, whether you played the piano or you played the guitar for somebody, like at our fall show or something like that, you get 15 points for each time you accompanied, with a max of 45. The next one is usher for a musical event. So if you were an usher for an event in the PAC that you were not involved in performing in, you were helping Mr. C out or Mr. Miller or something like that, you get 5 points for each event you ushered, with a max of 50. The next little one is our music fundraiser quota. If you can remember back to our cookie dough fundraiser in the fall, our quota this year was 6 tubs of cookie dough, or if you remember, we had the online subscription thing too. So if you did 6 tubs of cookie dough or got the online subscription, then you met the quota and you get 25 points for that. We did not host OMIE, so we'll skip over that. We did host ICHSA and ICCA. So if you were at that event and you helped out in any way, you get 25 points for that. We're just going to go ahead and do the max of 25. So if you were a helper or a host for the ICHSA, ICCAs, just give yourself 25 points. If you were an MC for any of our shows that we have done, you get 15 points per show, and that maxes out at 45 points. So all of you MCs out there, go ahead and give yourself points for that. And then the last one is concert stage crew. So if you were like my special help backstage, or Spalding's help with backstage stuff, like you were our go-tos for stage crew for one of our shows, you get 15 points per show. Again, max 30 on that. All right. Going on to the next category is other musical activities. So these are things outside of Centerville that you have done, or outside of the high school. So if you went to like a summer choir camp, camp a cappella, academy, anything like that, like a week-long summer camp for music last summer, you get 40 points for that. Okay. Now, this year, because of things being canceled and things like that, we are going to go ahead and count, like if you were scheduled to go to camp a cappella, or if you're scheduled to go to academy this summer, you get 40 points for that. We normally don't go ahead, but we will for this summer just because of this situation right now. Next we have church choir or praise band or whatever you do. If you sing at church, you get 5 points per Sunday that you sing, with a max of 40 points. If you are that person that you literally sing all the time, then you probably have earned that max of 40 points. Other performances. So this would be not at church, not at camp, not at CHS. So if you did any other performances besides that, you would get 5 points per performance, and with a max of 30 points for that. And then the next one is outside concert attendance. So this is if you went to go see a musical performance of some sort of music, and you were not participating in that. So let's say you went to the Forte CD release concert, but you're not in Forte, that would count. Or you went to go see Taylor Swift, or we're even counting now because we've been in quarantine. Like if you watched a concert online, there's been a lot of concerts going on. That would be 5 points per concert that you went to and watched. This also counts for musicals with a max of 30. So anything musical, it could be a band concert. And it can be concerts at CHS as long as you were not involved in performing in those concerts. If you were in the Muse show, you get 50 points for that. And then choir trips. If you went on the symphonic trip to New York, you would get 50 points for that this year. If you are in Forte and we were going to go to New York in April, we will also honor that 50 points because that's not your fault that we did not get to go. So you will get another 50 points for that. There is not a Wright State Mad River. We're gonna change the screen here at this point. And I'm gonna keep going. If you were part of the Kettering Children's Choir, that is 50 points for that. So Kettering Children's Choir, 50 points. Dayton Boys Choir, 50 points. Okay, outside auditions. So there's two types of auditions. If you did a college audition, like you're a senior and you're auditioning for college, that is 25 points per college audition with a max of 75 points. Any other outside auditions, so something that you did that you sang at that was not for a college and was not for a Centerville group, you get 5 points per audition with a max of 25. I don't think any of the other things, arranging a song. Arranging a song is 25 points. So if you arranged a song this year, like you actually took time and wrote it out and things like that, it's not just in your head, you get 25 points for that. And then the final one is the restroom passes. So if you think back to your bathroom passes that we give you, you get 5 points for each pass that you did not use. You had 4 passes in the, four in the fall and then 4 in the spring. So it's a max of 40 points. So just try to remember back. And I mean, if you don't have that perfect, that is fine. No worries on that. So these are the points. What you need to do is go ahead and message them to me or Spalding, or send us an email. You can put it in Google Classroom. We need the points by Sunday night so that we can get the awards ordered. If you can't get it in by Sunday night, I can't guarantee you that you will have your award for the end of this school year. And I think we're good to stop record now.